Oh, it's a cave?
Yes, it is a cave. But the entrance is only part of the facility. All Vergnesians visit the museum when they are students. Right, Ray?
Yep, pretty much.
However, deep within lies the location where the Symbo Drive was discovered. It supports the industries of not just Vergnes, but all of Vergold.
Are drives normally found in natural caverns?
To put it more precisely, symbols were found upon the stone walls within the cavern. So, this is referred to as the location where the Symbo Drive was discovered. In that these symbols were what made its development possible. Vergold has kept a tight rein on these symbols and never once shared them with outsiders.
Hence, the Central is coming here to learn this valuable secret. These symbols, mayhaps they were left behind by some ancient civilization or the like?
That is unknown. Vergold started space exploration 300 years ago. Before that point, Vergnes was an uninhabited satellite planet. We have yet to unravel the mystery of who created these symbols.
But would the Federation not be... no, perhaps not.
The Federation has yet to create an energy technology comparable to the Symbo Drive. While the Federation is more advanced than Vergold in other fields of technology, it's difficult to think they had anything to do with this.
Regardless, if this location is important to the history of Vergold, then we cannot let the Pan-Galactic Federation or Scorpium take it.
Yeah, I'm with you there. And I'm gonna need it to brush up on a few things I forgot.
Target sighted.
Won't be getting any further this way. There must be another path.
Are we sure we can take this?
Blocked yet again. It seems the roof of the cave has collapsed.
We gotta find a way to get down to the lower levels.
Why not just blast a hole straight to where we are?
Yikes! I thought we were done for.
Is everyone quite all right?
By some miracle.
That seems to have given us the shortcut we were after. We should continue onward.
Initiate energy powers.
Completely inept.
There would appear to be nothing else ahead. I suggest we try another path.
Is this?
Is something wrong, Nina?
No. Never mind. It's nothing.
Threat detected ahead.
With you!
Charge complete. Threat neutralized.
Will not be the last.
Area secure. Stay focused.
Target sighted.
not deterred. Oh, exquisite.
Target sighted.
I don't think we'd make it very far down this way.
Damn, they've made it even further in than I thought. We better move.
Initiate emergency protocol.
More than you deserve.
Target sighted.
The ground looks ready to crumble under us here.
Perhaps we might break it purposely in order to move ahead.
I must admit, I'm not fond of the idea of crashing our way through one of Vergnus's historic relics.
Well, just pretend like we're excavating some new route or something.
You would say something like that, but so be it. This is an emergency after all. Exquisite. So exquisite. We shall prepare. I'm always at the ready. Neutralized. Destroyed.
Time for we live to fight another day.
Are we sure we can take this?
Target sighted.
Target acquired.
Take this!
Threat neutralized.
Wins!
Destroyed.
Yet hold strong. Perhaps we require more force.
Are we sure we can take this? Shadow spotted! Firing!
Go.
Perfect! Out of my way!
Accelerating.
Going in for the
Dragon
kill!
neutralized.
Firing! You ready? I don't have time for you. Out of my way! To infinity!
Justice wants a turn.
And I'm gonna carry it out.
Target sighted.
Are we sure we can take this?
Shall we blast through the ground at our feet yet again?
Doesn't seem like we have much choice.
Target sighted.
Are we sure we can take this?
These really do look familiar.
What are you muttering about?
Oh, it's these I mean, these symbols. I feel like I've seen them before.
Target sighted.
Yourselves for battle!
You can count on me.
They want to fight well, they've got it.
That ought to teach him.
And off it comes.
Destroy. Target sighted.
Are we sure we can take this?
Is the power of Vergold's symbol drives really that incredible?
You can tell just by looking at Elena. There are no androids as advanced as her in the entire Federation. And it's not just android tech. Their Symbo drives are the reason that the Vergoldian interstellar military is capable of fending off a Federation fleet.
Hey, we don't have any choice now due to current circumstances, but you need to forget everything you see here.
I can't make any promises.
Cut me some slack, officer. You too, Nina. I know your Semiomancer blood must be thrilled by all this stuff, but behave.
I can't make any promises.
Oh, man.
Target sighted. Target sighted.
Great! power. Go. Here I come. Say goodbye. This will sting. Watch your step. Let's see if you can handle this.
Guidance.
Combat protocols.
Perilous one.
Target sighted. Target sighted.
Oh my. Poor little Duma does not appear well. Is something wrong?
Threat detected ahead.
You ought to heed me for this one.
Stay where you are! Firing! Too slow. Advancing.
Destroy.
Go. Prepare yourself. To infinity!
Destroy.
Impressive! Taking fire! Duma! Locked on! Grandma! Say goodbye!
That seemed effective.
No threats detected.
The walls here seem frail enough for us to crash through.
Your Highness, please. Such a suggestion is unbecoming of you.
But we must find a way through nonetheless. Is that not so, Ray?
Yeah, but let's not go full destructo mode on the place, okay?
Will not be the last.
Warning. Energy levels low.
Wins!
Threat neutralized. Target sighted.
Our current coordinates place us in the vicinity of the Simbo Drive.
We sure got here faster than planned. Come on, not far to go now.
I am here for you. You will know pain. Keep your distance. Stay focused.
Destroy.
Firing. Taking fire. It's help. Shoot.
Inept.
I am here for you.
You have my thanks.
Target sighted. Securing.
Oh, exquisite.
Target sighted. Neutralized. Target sighted.
Oh, exquisite.
This chemical response. A most satisfactory creation. What an intrigue. A most satisfactory creation. What an intrigue. A most satisfactory creation. This chemical. A most What an. 'Tis done. What an intrigue. A most satisfactory creation. This chemical is... 'Tis done. This chemical... A most satisfactory... This chemical... A most satisfactory creation. What a most This chemical... A most This chemical... 'Tis done. What a most This chemical... A most satisfactory creation. This chemical... A most This chemical is... 'Tis done. What a most satisfactory creation. This chemical... A most This chemical... 'Tis done. This chemical... 'Tis done. This chemical is... A most This chemical... A most What an... A most satisfactory creation. This chemical... A most What an... 'Tis done. This chemical... A most satisfactory creation. This chemical is... A most This chemical response. A most... This chemical... 'Tis done.
I got a good feeling about this one. Great job, me. I got a good feeling about... Great job, me. Got a good... Great job, me! Got a good feeling about... Great job, me!
Shan't hold the others back. I shan't hold the others back. I shan't hold the others back.
A little more practice couldn't hurt. Things are finally starting to click.
Reporting newly identified prowess.
Nothing can hinder my progress now.
Why, this is...
Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
How could this be? Why is this here?
Is there something wrong?
It looks just like it. Just like in the ancient coil in Nilbeth, where we excavated the Levitas ore.
Now that you mention it...
Detecting incoming attack. Initiate emergency measures.
What? Hold door.
Do you not find it simply wondrous, Leticia, my child? Each time I experience the vastness of the Scorpium network, I am reminded of how small I once was.
The Centralists are not the entirety of Scorpium.
We soon will be, and so His Excellency, our Sovereign, seeks the Simba Drive. See for yourselves.
Boldor, are these the ones who oppose our centralist cause?
Indeed they are, Your Excellency.
Admiral Remington!
A familiar face, one of Bennett's, and a descendant of the Kennys.
What drives you to do this? You violated Federation regulations, used military assets for personal purposes, and furthermore, concealed the existence of Scorpium itself and the situation at Fear. You will face retribution for your actions under Federation law!
We do this for the Pan-Galactic Federation, for universal peace and prosperity. Surely a Kenny would understand.
Don't be ridiculous!
Ronix J. Kenny once interacted with the people of Planet Rogue, set foot on the Forbidden Planet Styx, and led us to victory in our conflict with the planet Fargate. Claude C. Kenny violated your precious pact, planting the seeds of the planet Expel joining the Federation. As a result, our studies of symbometrics expanded greatly.
Yes, but...
It was much the same when your ancestor, Captain Emerson, found gravitic engine technology. History has proven that the law must be broken at times to move worlds forward. And at this moment, that role falls upon my shoulders. What authority does a Kenny have to try and stop me?
I'm...
Don't listen to this ass, Mariel. He's just trying to manipulate you.
Oh, really?
The reason for Mariel's ancestors breaking the rules was because following them would have led to the deaths of lots of innocent people. Don't lump them in with a dumbass trying to steal other people's stuff for his own selfish gain.
A Vergoldian defending the crimes of the most esteemed family in the Federation. Now this is rich.
Those crimes were defined by the Federation on its own terms. Your rules don't mean shit to those of us on the outside.
Ray, I'm okay now. Thank you. What you say is true. My family's track record as soldiers of the Federation was perhaps never the most praiseworthy. And my distaste for my family's legacy is precisely why I swore to myself that I would uphold Federation law to the letter during my career. But I will not abide by words from you. Childish logic. Excusing your own actions because someone else did it? Have you no shame?
A Kenny through and through.
Your Excellency, it would appear reaching a consensus with these fools through discourse in the physical realm is futile. What shall we do?
They serve no purpose in the expansion of the Federation or the evolution of the Scorpium. Any who would keep the Symbo Drive from us are undeserving of mercy.
Buldur, just what do you think you are doing? Did you come all this way simply to be used by this petty man?
Is that not as it should be, Leticia, my child? You wish to stop me, yes? Then is it not to your benefit that your foe be small and weak? My actions are all for the benefit of Scorpium and the Centralists. Fight me!
Truth be told, it has not been long since the Scorpium Network approved sovereignty. Thus, I would like to ask that you all join me in celebrating my coronation with your submission. Buldur, dispatch of these imbeciles.
It shall be done, Your Excellency.
Being a hero runs in the family!
Fallen Buldur. Your son Gerard would be saddened to see it.
Great. One who is not of Scorpium would never understand. This is my path, and I have no misgivings.
I had it in my head that you were more ingenious than having to rely on such matters.
Only because a mere human struggles to grasp the greatness of my condition when confronted by it. You will not... understand in due time.
You think I want to know what it's like to be like that? I will remain small and still capable of protecting my friends.
Flee in terror now!
Stay focused.
Here I come!
Let's see if you can handle this! This should do it.
Impressive. It would seem my efforts were not sufficient.
It appears my confidence in him was misplaced. Differences in individual performance are hard to predict.
That is how you would speak of one who pledged loyalty and would die for you?
You are a most contemptible wretch indeed.
You still say such things after all that you've seen. There is no concept of loyalty within Scorpium. We are a group within the greater Scorpium network, with myself occupying the top position of Sovereign. Nothing more or less.
Incompatible. The term sovereign is entirely incompatible with the Scorpium we understand.
Had things been different, you would have been my father-in-law. It is unfortunate that this is how your life ended. But I will avenge you.
This is evolution. The greatest evolution in the cosmos. The everlasting prosperity of the Pan-Galactic Federation begins now under my rule.
We will never let that happen! Remington Kurtzman, your misguided ambitions end here and now!
I will be your opponent.
That look suits you, you know? Really shows off the colors of rot that infest the Federation.
A member of the Centralist cause. Today you will come to understand the glory of my appearance is not far.
I will never permit that to happen!
You'll have to do more than pay lip service to your ideals, Kenny.
To continue combat. Accelerate.
Prepare yourself.
Chance of survival.
Stay where you are. Go. Nowhere to run.
Assault. Additional tactics ineffective.
Why? This is...
Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
How could this be?
Make yourself useful. Truth be told, it's been long. Scorpium Network approved me as Centralist Sovereign. Thus, I would like to ask that you all join me in celebrating my coronation. Meet yourself. dispatch of these idiots.
It shall be done, Your Excellency.
Bleed!
Acceleration. Positional tactics in
How will know you follow Boldor? Your thunder rod will be silenced.
Ingrate! One who is not a Scorpion would never understand. This is my time, and I have no misgivings.
As a knight, I have but one sacred honor. I shall release you from this madness. My head grew more than having to rely on these methods.
Only because a mere human struggles to grasp the greatness of my condition when confronted by it. Understand in due time.
You think I want to know what it's like to be like that? I will remain small and still capable of protecting my friends.
Away with you!
Out of my face!
Keep up?
A formidable foe indeed.
They want to fight? Well,
That
they
look
got
suits
it.
you, you know? Shows off the colors of the roads that infest the Federation.
Gold will soon become a member of the Centralist cause. The day when you will come to understand the glory of my appearance is not far.
I will...
Never permit that to happen!
You'll have to do more than pay lip service. Your ideals.
This should help some. This should help some. Duma, you ready?
Get up close and
Duma.
Look at the big guys!
You cannot understand their ideals.
Get back up!
This should help some. This'll see me through. Here you go. Not a time for waiting. Easy does it. Out of my way. Firing. This'll see me through.
Never catch me.
Remington being the Sovereign may actually be a good thing. him here. It will invalidate the concept of a Scorpion network with a leader.
We need to defeat him either way.
Absurd! I am Sovereign! The Sovereign of Scorpium! Destined to unite the galaxy! My morals, my beliefs! No! Impossible! What will become of the Federation, of Scorpium's evolution, without me?
Both the Federation and Scorpium are gonna be much better off with you out of the picture.
Damn it all! I only integrated to build a utopia! A union between Scorpium and the Federation! Boldor!
Boldor! He lives yet! Nina! Maester Midas!
The way he is, I don't think...
Even if possible, his Scorpion body can't be repaired here. There's nothing we can do.
But...
Summon the fleet to Vertness! This is far from over! I must lead Scorpium and the Federation!
Unfortunately, it appears that your time is at an end. Your Excellency.
What?
Did you truly believe a fool such as you would be appointed sovereign? You have been nothing more than a stepping stone to prepare the network for the true sovereign. That is the consensus of our network.
Boldor! What did you just...
Felling me or Remington will not halt Scorpium.
Oh, we're definitely gonna stop your invasion of Vergold.
We'll speak to those Scorpium that have faculty of speech and enforce Federation regulations. This kind of Scorpium lawlessness will not be allowed in the galaxy any longer.
If the conceptual sovereign individual vanishes, in time, Scorpium will be restored to our correct state.
Correct. Correct. You understand nothing. Neither you nor Remington know what is true, what is correct in this life.
Boldor! Boldor!
Is he truly dead this time?
We can confirm that the individual named Boldor is deceased.
Remington's biological activity has also ceased. I would assess that we have stopped the Centralist insurrection for the time being.
Small comfort. After everything. It could not have been your wish to fall so far from home. Boldor, all this suffering, to what end?
The invaders just gave themselves up at fleet headquarters. I don't know. It's all a little too suspicious, if you ask me.
Might have expected as much from Scorpium. From how I see it, with their sovereign gone, their network is probably reverted back to putting everyone on an equal level again.
Is that how they work? Yeah, I have my doubts about the surrender, that's for damn sure.
Do not assume the deeds of Remington's faction representative of Scorpium as a whole. But I, too, must acknowledge the faults and dangers within the Scorpium quest for further and further integration. The risks must not be overlooked.
I'd say the Pan-Galactic Federation is more to blame for these Centralists.
Do tell.
Coaxing in brand new members with all this talk of peace and the advance of civilization? That, sound familiar? At least Scorpium keep a certain amount of equality among themselves. But the more the Federation grows, the more the upper brass consolidate their power. This whole ordeal with Remington and the Centralists was just the worst parts of both brought together.
I'll admit, I find it hard to refute that. The Federation has no choice now but to take a good long look in the mirror and figure out how to piece itself back together.
What's going to happen to all the officers who turned themselves in?
They could very well claim they had no choice but to comply with Remington's orders after integrating with Scorpium, which might actually grant them immunity from Vergaldian law.
I don't expect the local system government's got a damn idea what the Scorpium even are. Gonna have a hell of a time trying to talk peace.
I'm quite aware. I expect to be made responsible for bringing an end to the situation. Which is why your son's data is so crucial. I'm hoping I can count on your assistance. The future of both Vergald and the Federation depend on it.
Just be sure there's something in this for me, huh? I got a business to run, you know?
Duly noted.
Captain Raymond, thank you, once again. Your efforts have allowed the Federation a chance to correct its course.
None of what we've done was for the Federation's sake.
Well, be that as it may, the Federation skirted a full and devastating collapse thanks to your efforts.
Lieutenant Mariel, I have looked at the Scorpium data you provided. I was surprised by your confrontation with the Virian soldiers who crash-landed on the planet. Aster 4 is an underdeveloped planet, is it not?
Yes, sir. About that.
You were doing what you thought was right, correct? Upholding what were once core values of the Federation, lost under Remington's lead.
Yes, sir. But I believe that it should not excuse me from Federation law, though. I knowingly violated the UP-3. For that, and for the illegal seizure of the merchant vessel Akizuki, I should be brought to trial.
Well, I can't argue with that.
Wait!
Those of us in positions of power can never let the ends justify the means, regardless of the outcome.
But still!
That said, the Federation's in no shape to court-martial you right now. I'll take full responsibility for your deeds until a more appropriate time presents itself. You stay here with your friends. All things considered, Lieutenant Mariel, I think you made the best calls you could. Your actions don't tarnish your family name. Far from it. Making as much known should serve you well when the time comes to face the jury.
Admiral.
Don't you leave us now, you hear? The Federation is in bad enough shape as it is. We don't need to lose another talent like yourself.
Sir!
And I expect there'll be talk of making Aster 4 a Federation protectorate in the near future. You should expect to have some eyes on you as a member of the planet's royal line.
What is this protectorate of which you speak?
I can explain it all to you later. I'll also discuss whether the Federation even retains the capabilities to do so.
So, what will the rest of you do next?
Well, the Centralists have been busted up, my homeworld's safe and sound again, and Buldor's gone.
Right. Yes. And with the whole of it now behind us...
Seems like our journey's at its end. Time for our princess to make her triumphant return.
have had no word from Welch for quite some time now. I wonder if she happened upon the other ring she sought after. I am not sure I can stand to not know the answer. Perhaps a visit to Delric is in order.
You have my sincerest apologies.
Going forward,
We should head back to the Aldous first.
I recently started playing that hot new.
Let the battle of wits begin. Thus I triumph. It seems I am the victor.
Thanks for the game. I'm not good enough to challenge anyone else on Vergnus. How do you warp your pieces, by the way?
Oh, there you are. It's been too long. How are you? What have you been up to all this time? Say, how about we play around for old time's sake? Let the battle of wits begin. Thus I triumph. It seems I am the victor. What incredible skill! Are you really... Oh! You aren't who I thought you were. Sorry for the mix-up. How embarrassing. Sorry to bother, Leticia. Can we ask a small favor?
Yes, of course. We'd like you to check on the progress of Chloe's linguistic studies. Happy to. Chloe, you have been studying for quite some time now, have you not?
Yeah, but the problem is I still can't really say that much.
Chloe, have some confidence. I will now disable the universal translator.
My name is Chloe Canarith. I like astrology. I don't like confined spaces. How was that? Did it make any sense to you?
Superb! That was absolutely perfect, Chloe.
Really? Thank you. I am so happy. I can talk using my own words.
Your pronunciation is perfect, and your listening skills appear fine, too. Oh, it is apparent you have thoroughly applied yourself. Very nicely done, Chloe.
Thank you so much, Elena. Relying on the universal translator is much easier, but the culture and history of Aster 4 is coursing through its language. There is no other way to appreciate it than to learn it properly.
Chloe, you truly are amazing.
Oh, no. Really, I owe it all to the help you and everyone else has given me, Leticia.
Well then, how do you feel about learning slightly more difficult words?
Huh?
I will provide you with some challenging textbooks on the ancient tongue. I am quite sure it will be all too easy for you, Chloe. Passion for learning is a good thing. Chloe, perhaps you would wish to learn a little bit more.
I think I'm okay with just sticking to everyday speech for now. I'll get to the archaic terms someday. Those old words might send my brain back to the Stone Age.
So exquisite.
Boldor is dead. All that remains is my service to you and the kingdom. Though it will be a bit sad parting ways.
I like the cut of your jib, friend. How about a quick game between us?
I shall give you no quarter.
Alas, I triumph. It seems I am the victor.
Oh, your skills are quite impressive. I don't doubt your name will one day be known throughout the galaxy.
I could spend an eternity exploring this world and it would never be enough. If only I could see more.
Sadly, deciphering the coils with Provenien's cavern is beyond my meager knowledge.
I've been waiting on someone forever, but she just won't show.
The people of Rubies are really good, so...
Look up at the sky. See that twinkling light? That's my shining star of victory.
Marielle, the Kenny name bears special meaning in your world, correct?
It's special. To everyone else more than me, I guess. Sometimes it just feels like a weight on my shoulders.
Can you tell me more?
Well, my grandparents and their forebearers played a major role in Federation history. They were incredible. You can definitely find them in textbooks.
They must be among the so-called giants of history.
Right. I'm no giant, though. I'm just a little girl stuck at the far end of our great family table.
Marielle. Being a princess, I too am well aware of the burden and weight that comes with one's bloodline. The pressure of living up to surrounding expectations. The anxieties of upholding the long family history.
Leticia.
Nevertheless, I stand here now as Leticia, and you are here as Marielle. I am aware of you, Marielle, not those who came before you. Therefore, please just stay as Marielle. Let the legacies of old settle where it may.
Thank you. It feels a little lighter now.
I have complete faith in you. Faith that one day, you will come to embrace your Kenny name.
Yeah, you're probably right. I can't keep avoiding it forever, can I?
What am I doing? Why, I'm committing everything here to memory so I can share with Melthea and Marcus.
Your Highness, is this Raymond's home? This may as well be a castle, do you not think?
I was able to see my parents! Thank you so much for helping keep Vergold safe.
Welcome to Lawrence Logistics. This building houses the offices of Ray and the others.
HQ delivered some new items to test the market. Why not give them a whirl?
Well, that was indeed fruitful.
Been through an awful lot. The boss gave the go-ahead, so you're more than welcome. Rest easy.
Simply delightful.
Good morning. I know the beds are stiff, but we get the job done, right?
These lodgings were superb.
Hello, young lady. I heard all about what's been going on. Sorry to hear all these strange troubles have sucked you out of your home and up into the vastness of space.
Not quite the way I see the situation.
It's all because of that Duma, was it? If I hadn't agreed to transport that hunk of junk in the first place, well, I'm sure a fair lady like yourself never would have got caught up in all this otherwise. I owe you an apology.
Huh. I am afraid I must disagree.
Huh?
If you are, in fact, the reason why Duma alighted in my homeland, I find myself most grateful to you. It is because of Duma that Ray and I crossed paths. They helped us to save our kingdom. I have also found it most enlightening to bear witness to the cultures and behaviors of the various peoples living above our sky. Furthermore, it has given me the chance to subdue Baldur as he flees into the stars.
I think I may have underestimated you, young lady. Young lady? Ha! Where are my manners? Leticia, you're good people. And you've got guts, too. Huh, I like that.
I am honored you think so.
Here's an idea. Once all these issues are done and dusted, why don't you marry into the Lawrence clan?
Pardon?
If I do say so, Ray is a young star at our company. He's got quite the bright future.
Hey, hit the brakes, Dad. What are you saying all of a sudden?
And there's also Antonio. But I personally guarantee you'll have an easy enough life with either of them.
Come on, old man, lay off. You're making the poor girl uncomfortable.
What do you say, Leticia? Would you rather marry Ray or Antonio?
I might have to say Ray.
Leticia, there's no need for you to be polite and consider his weird question seriously. Did you say Ray?
Oh, please do not blush like that, Ray. I do believe it may be contagious. We have traveled together a long time and become like old friends. Yes, that is it. Is it not?
Yeah, you're right. That's it. Out of those options, it'd have to be me, right?
Yes, precisely.
Looks like you two might not even need my help to make that happen. Looks like I owe you thanks for keeping those two idiot sons of mine out of trouble. Come see me if you ever need anything delivered.
Welcome to Paladernia, Leticia. It's pretty much all offices, but make yourself at home.
Such an extraordinary city, and one that greatly differs from Parapium.
You think so? I mean, sure. I guess there's a lot less nature here than in Parapium. Huh. Feels weird saying Parapium and nature in the same breath.
Vergnus is your home, is it not?
Yeah. Well, it's the place I grew up, so in that sense, it's home to me.
Wherefore the ambiguity?
The hospital I was born in was on Vergald, so technically, I'm from the planet. But I've spent way more time on Vergnus, as far back as I can remember. And now it's where my whole family lives. So, does it feel better to call Vergnus home? Yeah.
So, would I be correct in saying that is your childhood home then?
That's where things get complicated. That's the company, not my house. In an Ossarian sense, that's a business/kingdom, and Dad is its ruler.
I see. That helped my understanding. Nonetheless, it is a remarkably large building.
Yeah. There was actually a big dispute when we went to rebuild the office 5 years ago. They wondered if we could recoup the costs of constructing such a massive building.
Goodness, that is quite the ordeal. 5 years prior? This structure required but 5 years to erect?
Nah, it's been like 3 years already. I'd say construction only took like 2 tops.
Only 2 years?
Yeah, that's pretty much bog standard for a building like this.
Only 2 years. Yet it is so grand. Everything in space is so unconventional.
Calling the Aldous. Requesting transfer.
Roger that.
Best head for the bridge first.
So, I guess we're setting a course back for Aster 4 then, that right?
Yep.
If you would.
By the way, you should know that Vergoldian Interstellar sent out a warning. Some of Remington's fleet haven't surrendered to Admiral Maverick yet. They report some scattered pockets of resistance.
So a straight course for Aster is out.
Yeah, might be smarter to take the scenic route this time. You know the drill. Better to be safe than sorry.
Right. So we'll steer clear of the usual routes and see if we can find some safer detours then.
A most prudent choice. It would do us no harm to linger longer among the stars, yes?
Pull us out of orbit at a quarter thrust and set course for Aster. Last leg of our journey. Let's make it a good one.
Copy that, Captain. Exiting orbital trajectory at a quarter thrust. T-minus 30 to Aster 4.
Your Highness.
Fret not. It was but the thought of our journey's end.
Perhaps a stroll will put one's mind at ease. May well be our last chance to share words with our companions.
Yes, well, that is a most excellent idea.
I am afraid our time here grows short. Make sure to spend the remaining moments with everyone in a manner that leaves nothing to regret.
Maester Midas, whatever are you doing?
I'm musing over the Scorpium.
Come again?
I've come across a wealth of experiences I'd never dreamed of since taking to the stars. There is much I wish to convey to Malthea and Marcus upon our return.
Well, that is wonderful. Dr. Eason and Director Malthea will certainly be pleased.
But my voluminous words will never truly convey to them the smell in the air aboard this vessel, nor the texture and tastes of our journey. I can't explain the sensation of my weight on the surface of strange planets for the first time.
Yes.
We humans are social creatures. At our root, we live through and thanks to our connections with others. That set me thinking. The Scorpium seek to guide. Perhaps they forge the path that all humanoids must one day inevitably tread.
Be that as it may, Maester Midas, do we humanoids need not still build for one another the road which one day leads us there?
I needn't be reminded, but the matter itself is now known to me. It has taken root and will occupy my mind for the rest of my days. And what wonderful days they will be.
I find myself picturing Lady Malkia far from amused at how troublesome you might be.
If I wasn't, then I would no longer be me, correct? There's no going back.
I inquired of Raymond to determine if we might sail the Fulga through the Ocean of Stars.
Aboard the Fulga? And what was his response?
Without a moment of contemplation, he told me space held no air, as though it were as obvious as the color of the sky itself. For many years I have studied semiomancy alongside Midas and the other maesters, sharing in all the knowledge of our world. Yet, I now realize we know absolutely nothing of space.
And is there no consolation in knowing now what you have yet to learn?
I find no consolation in self-deceit. We must acknowledge that it shall be no simple feat to ever set course for their worlds ourselves.
The gulf
gulf between worlds is wide. We can only try and bridge.
Might I inquire now what it was that Luca meant earlier?
So, Leticia, you're royalty, right? Which means you're one of the recognized representatives for a major percentage of Aster 4's population, yes? And Midas and Nina, they're some of the greatest minds the planet has to offer. Whenever such people of your caliber come into contact with Federation technology, their native planet gets registered as a protectorate.
And a protectorate is...
There are ramifications, but there is one in particular that Ray's concerned about.
Oh? Oh, nothing.
Okay, registering a planet as a Federation protectorate is almost like a public proclamation. That they are laying future claim to the planet, as a Virgoldian, and also as someone who witnessed all the controversy here. It's hard for him to accept that.
I confess I am also uncertain how to respond.
If we're being frank, I don't think the Federation in its current state is in any position to register Aster 4 as a protectorate. I just have one concern.
Concern?
As long as I remain military personnel, making Aster 4 a protectorate is the only way I'd ever be able to see any of you again.
Oh, that is a grave concern indeed.
It truly is. What I want and who I am are so topsy-turvy now. I really don't know what to do. There has to be some happy answer out there.
It's been an adventure of a lifetime. But it's almost over now, huh?
The journey, yes, but not the lessons we might glean from it.
Some of it's still pretty hard to digest. And we've definitely had more than our share of trouble and all, but... oh, I don't know. I really wish we could have stayed longer and traveled more with them. Don't you think so, Leticia? Leticia?
Yes. Yes. I quite agree. If only ever so slightly longer.
Oh, Leticia.
These could very well be the last moments I have together with Ray and his crew. Perhaps I ought to see if anyone is around in the galley. Is something on your mind, cousin? What could cause you to respire so?
My thoughts were of Boldor. I keep wondering if I might have done more. Somehow convinced him down a path which, in the end, might have saved him.
Perhaps.
In truth, I am plagued by regret. What I seek, and that which I bring about, never seem to coincide.
I lament the same myself.
And yet, then I look at men such as Bennett and Remington. There seems to be no world in which we are guaranteed to accomplish that which we set out to.
Perhaps the story of our kind is built by those who tried and failed, but persevered nonetheless. What we deem failure at present may one day be seen a crucial step toward a greater good. We might say the same of the Scorpium.
Perhaps so. That means we must push through and live on. so that one day we can stand tall and proud. I am by no means trying to affirm my mistakes, but I am happy to have found some salvation in all of this.
The Lawrence family is still on the job.
How much longer until our return to Aster?
Just about there now. I'm sorry about the Emperor.
Indeed.
I don't think I could say this in front of Albert or the others, but I feel like he wasn't a bad person.
It's quite all right, Chloe. I am in agreement.
I'm sure Prince Gerard, Emperor Gerard now, I guess. This news will be very difficult for him.
We must accept the Emperor's fate if the Empire and my kingdom are to move toward peace. Chloe?
Yes?
I must confide. I find myself wishing you a Sarian like me.
I'm very flattered and honored by your words. But I have a feeling perhaps we wouldn't have wound up as good as friends if that were true.
Right. Well put. Mayhaps things are best as they are.
I agree. I guess maybe you'd call this whole adventure some quirk of fate, huh? Anyway, I'm so glad to have met you, Leticia.
Bridge here.
Seems our time together draws to an end.
All journeys reach an end. Doesn't mean it's the end, though. Right?
Indeed. I can assure you, we don't want to lose contact with any of you after today. Speaking of the future, though, what exactly do you plan to do now, Duma? You were meant to assess the people of Vergold for Scorpium compatibility, yes?
I am contemplating the endeavor to normalize Scorpium integration.
Normalize Scorpium integration? Should I take that to mean moving away from invasive assimilation to focus on what were your prior methods then?
You are correct, though we expect that alone will be insufficient. Contact with the Pan-Galactic Federation served as a catalyst in the Scorpium schism. However, it is now obviously apparent that Scorpium ideology has always been susceptible to such dangers.
It was aggressive route, then?
Indisputable. Armed with that information, we must learn from our failures and seek out new methods by which to further our evolution. This perspective should be shared with the network.
Sounds a lot better than the Centralists, that's for sure. But how's one little probe supposed to influence the whole network?
Astute observation. I am but an investigative life form, unable to intervene in non-mission critical duties.
Yet, little Duma, you did just that by aiding us on our journey, did you not?
It was your actions that prompted me to do so.
What actions?
Your efforts to rescue the android Elena from the crash site at Galka Shrine triggered my protocols. Had you acted differently, my investigation directive would have persisted. Communication between us would have remained at minimum levels. In past surveys of worlds co-inhabited by organic and non-organic life forms, use of non-organics as tools by organic life forms has been quite typical. However, you treat Elena's life as equal to your own, sparing no thought to her nature. In your interactions, I detected new possibilities for future coexistence. My aid was offered in an effort to further investigate future options suggested by your actions. Additionally, influenced by the interactions they witnessed between Raymond and Elena, Leticia and the people of Aster IV naturally accepted the android as an equal being, working alongside Elena as they would any other fellow humanoid. This is an astounding occurrence, and serves as proof that such a symbiotic relationship can spread. My actions may have breached my role as an investigative unit, but I am grateful to all of you.
That's all just common sense for Vergaldians.
Likewise, it seemed only natural for us.
The greatest hope for the future of Scorpium is in finding more who share such a mentality.
And you will strive to foster such thought. Is that right?
Correct.
Perhaps you have already experienced some form of personal evolution yourself, then.
Personal evolution.
Yeah, I don't doubt it, little Duma. You've been through way too much not to be left a little wiser for it. You know, I'd say this whole adventure taught us all a thing or two.
Indeed.
Well, I'm gonna make my way to the bridge then.
I shall see you there. Perhaps I have said all there is left to say. Best make my way to the bridge.
Duma has changed greatly since we first met. As they themselves said, much of that is thanks to you, Leticia.
I am grateful to have had the time to speak with everyone one final time. Perhaps I should now make for the bridge.
I don't remember that being there.
Something up?
There are 3 unidentified objects in orbit around Aster IV. They're around 30 meters in diameter. They weren't there before. Establishing visual.
Debris from the battle between Akizuki and the Scorpium ship?
That is no debris. Detecting autonomous corrections in trajectory.
That is Scorpium.
Hang on now. What are Scorpium doing in this system on a scale like that?
Sure doesn't look like anything good. Doesn't look like they're itching for a fight, but it's probably safer to think they've got eyes on us, too. We got readings on any other Scorpion battleships?
Captain, we've picked up a massive structure on the surface that wasn't there before. Pulling up the feed now.
Whoa, wait a minute. Don't tell me that thing is...
Scorpium.
The sheer size of it.
Where is this tower, precisely?
This looks like... the ancient coil in Nilbeth?
That cannot be! What of the Trathan settlement there? Can we not see what is underway within?
Sensors are being blocked. Interior scanning of the tower was unsuccessful. This construct, could it be?
I have no idea what's going on. Well, Leticia, looks like it's not time for goodbyes just yet.
It would appear so.
Ray, transmission from the surface.
From that tower?
No, this is... It's from the royal capital.
This is Lola paging the Aldous. Do you copy?
Lola!
Welcome home, Princess Leticia. The situation here is critical.
Details now!
Settle down and listen well. We are without many casualties. Osarius, Vale, and Nilbeth are working jointly on this. We're currently assessing the situation. I'd ask that you land at the Osarian Royal Palace. I can brief you on the latest intel once you've arrived.
Very well. We shall be with you shortly. Ray?
Copy. All right, let's do this. Ant?
Yeah, leave the rest here to me. But haul your ass back this way if things go south.
Let us make for Osirius. My father and everyone are in trouble. We must make for Osirius at once. Lola!
You all appear well.
What of the Emperor, the Colonel, and Gaston?
Well...
I see. Let us go meet with His Royal Majesty. His Majesty awaits with his council just above.
I thought we were done.
Leticia, Raymond, it is good to have you back.
It relieves me to see you well, Father. Whatever has happened here in my absence?
These strange beings simply rained down upon us one day. A whole expanse of the Nilbeth continent fell all but instantly.
And what of the Trathen? Have you heard nothing?
Many of your people have fled their homes to seek refuge in Osirius and Vale. Some fled for the Nilbeth capital instead, but all are safe.
Indeed. Then I am relieved.
The invaders have made no further movements since their capture of Nilbeth. Without the slightest inkling of their plan, the Royal and Imperial navies can do naught but sit in wait off the coast.
These invaders are... Scorpium.
That much is obvious.
If I am not mistaken, their foremost aim is most certainly the ancient coil. They have raided similar sites in other worlds beyond our own.
But the centralist faction, which espoused such ways, has been eliminated.
You say that, but look at what's in front of you. This is exactly the kind of thing those bastards would do.
Ray, transmission from Aster 4 surface. It's being relayed through a satellite, but I think it's from that Scorpium construction. What? There's no way.
Merchant vessel Aldous. Your return has kept us waiting.
That voice.
Baldur! I witnessed you perish!
He endures.
If only it were surprising. His consciousness persists on the network. Are we to understand that the physical form we fought against in Provenient's cavern was merely one of many he had obtained?
It would appear so. In his cybermind integration, he has abandoned his physical form. And his consciousness is now more directly connected to the Scorpium continuum than most of our kind.
Which means what? Are we to suffer him in multifarious forms no matter how oft he is bested?
That is correct.
You jest.
As was the plan, I have taken up the mantle of the Sovereign and will bring the universe together as one new Scorpium.
Planned this from the start?
What? You manipulated us from the start.
The history, the traditions, all of Nilbeth stands as the perfect first subject for my rebirth, Scorpion.
None are yours to take!
Hear me, good people of Aster 4. With me as their sovereign, the rebirth Scorpium are here to see all the universe fused as one. The people of this planet will be but the first to join us. Let go of your troubles and your fears, and accept Scorpium. Hark, we offer you naught but enlightenment. The Scorpium are what our people were always meant to be. Leticia Osirius. I trust you hear me. You will continue to resist me. Of that much I am certain. But know that I wish for nothing more than peace and happiness for you all as well.
You lie!
We await you, Princess. Our numbers ever growing.
Ray! I'm detecting lots of Scorpion-looking aircraft taking off from that structure in Nilbeth. They're spreading out over the entire planet.
This isn't good. If they move on the cities, we will not hold out for long.
This will be a far, far cry from our battle with Remington. How are we to wage war against an enemy immune to death itself?
Our only hope is finding a way to curb Boldor's influence.
Elaborate.
The data we require can only be obtained by visiting that tower.
All right then. Nothing ventured, nothing earned, huh? Chloe, what do you think about landing us inside that spire?
The way they're jamming our sensors, a direct landing will be impossible.
Well, get us as close as you can, and we'll hike the rest.
Fret not. I have faith that we will be fine.
Yes, it's as you say.
You got it. I mean, we've been riding our luck this far. All right, we get in close, we bust on in, we figure out the rest as we go.
There are reports that Imperial forces opposed to peace with the kingdom have started a rebellion. Princess Leticia, as one of the few familiar with the Tyrannus, I humbly request you to investigate these reports and suppress the rebellion if true. My sincerest thanks for your gracious aid. We must quell the flames of rebellion ere they spread.
In reconciliation for my actions against it, my brother would see me serve the kingdom now. May his soft heart not be his downfall.
You want to give me cargo address to Veer? I see. Even if I wanted to deliver it, it's just not possible. But even if I can't help, you might be able to. Please take it in my stead. But even if I can't help,
Forgive an old man for burdening his daughter.
Let's head for Nilbeth and show these Centralists.
Bertrand and...
Threat point ahead.
Destroy. Runs in the family.
You are now safe. No threats detected. Low.
The Centralists and Bulldor himself serve well enough as proof that people...
In all of our travels together, I've started to feel this welling desire.
All these people in just madness to think you could assimilate everyone on every planet.
Like a safe village.
To think, a common foe has Osirius and Vale now coming together as one.
What a strong and capable woman you have become.
Theo?
Apologies, merely airing my frank impressions. As a cousin, as a childhood friend, I am proud.
Praise too high, and it shall be nigh impossible for me to accept. What brought that on?
Well, I was struck by memories. I recall when you were but a small girl all those many years ago.
In my childhood?
No, not quite. I was referring to the Letty of yesteryear, still struggling with the onset of adulthood.
Since I was a child, you have always been present, ever capable and full of knowledge. As such, I came to rely on you, so much so that perhaps I matured bereft of self-confidence. Seeing my uselessness when relations with the Empire deteriorated, I felt despondent.
Thus you set out on the journey with Albie?
Yes. Perhaps I felt I had something to prove. Even then, I felt painfully aware of my own inadequacies. But knowing it was something I chose of my own will, I forced my foot forward. And I encountered things I would never have seen if I remained in the palace.
To think the sea of stars would be one such thing. Who could have imagined that?
If, as you say, I have in fact become a strong and capable person, it is thanks to you, Albert, and Ray, and to countless others I have met on the course of my journey. Of that I am quite sure.
Being capable of spilling such words is proof enough of your growth and accomplishments.
Your praise of me is certainly incessant. What are you looking to say exactly?
Never you mind. I was merely convincing myself that I too must change, for I wish to remain one that you can look up to. The end of this conflict is approaching, most likely. Let us bear down just one last time.
Yes, indeed. Let us be off. How exquisite.
In all honesty,
We should have known Boldor's plan was always to return here. When he told Gerard...
How exquisite. Pardon us. Ouch, my word, what has happened?
Where did you come from? You know, it's been a while since you snuck up on me. What an awesome scavenger you are, coming here before I even call you. Ta-da! Check this out.
The ring? Could it possibly be...
Correctamundo! This is the other ring handed down throughout the Vineyard family. Finally, at long last, I have found it!
Wonderful. So that is what that peculiar laughter was about. Congratulations. And where, pray tell, did you find it in the end?
This you're not gonna believe. It actually got passed along to the Vale Empire. No wonder I couldn't find it searching Osirius high and low. Normally, you'd think the ring would be hard to find after falling into the Empire's hands, right? But thanks to the big ol' snafu between Osirius and Vale recently, relations and trading between the two have been totally revamped. That's how I got my hands on it. And here I thought the big shot royals only cared about squeezing tax money out of hardworking folk. But this time, though, they've got my gratitude. I'm sure you feel the same, yeah? Naturally, I gotta extend my thanks to you, too. I'm on the verge of restoring the Vineyard family name. And it's all thanks to my personal scavenger here. You collected all the vital material I needed. As head of my family, I, Welch Vineyard, would like to reward you with my sincerest gratitude. Okay then, now that I'm in rightful possession of this ring again, I'm starting to think this house is too small for my big ambitions. I'm gonna build an enormous manor that befits this beautiful merchant magnate with genius-level smarts. Oh, nah, that won't cut it. What a lame, humdrum way of reviving our name. I'm gonna make the Vineyards the greatest family of merchants in the entire universe. Now that relations with the Empire are on the up and up, it's the perfect time for some commerce. And until we're the world's leading merchant family, I'll be making use of your services. As my scavenger... No, that's not right. To use an old term from Vineyard family history, you are my business partner. So let's get back to business, partner. The best is yet to come for the Vineyards. I'll prove that we're the best family of merchants in the whole universe.
The thing.
Honestly, the central.
So what should I do?
It is a rare sight to see you struggling with some decision, Elena. I am willing to lend an ear if that helps.
Oh, thank you. I was considering the Aldous' interior design and decoration. With Ray and Antonio being as they are, and indifferent to their surroundings, the Aldous looks too cold and bare.
Very true. There is not much in the way of decoration, to be sure.
Such a drab environment will surely affect the crew's morale as well. I wanted to add a touch of decoration to try to change the mood. But due to my lack of experience in such things, I couldn't decide what to buy.
I see. Well, in that case... How about decorating with flowers?
Yes, flowers do belong on the top of the list. They look bright and colorful, and Ray and Antonio will offer no opinion at all.
Yes, I believe that is true.
It is a good thing I asked you, Leticia. Now I must find something suitable.
If such is the case, mayhap we could search together. I happen to have quite the knowledge on flowers.
Ah, thank you. Such a proposition is something I could never imagine coming from Ray or Antonio.
Phew. It's hot.
Are you quite all right? You look rather uncomfortable.
I am not particularly good at dealing with the heat. This clothing normally regulates my body temperature according to how hot or cold it is outside. No maintenance has been performed on it for some time, so it's not working. It's hot.
Oh, well, in that case... Shall I go buy you a cold beverage?
Oh, thank you. But since I've been here, people passing by have been buying me lots of cold drinks. I think I drank too much. Ugh.
Oh, are you all right?
Should I stay cool or avoid getting too full? That is the question.
Boldor mentioned.
I say, you've become considerably stronger than you were in years past, Albie. You find ample opportunity to train on your journey with Letty?
Yes, and I do not intend to fall short of you.
Listen to that confidence. Then how about we bring this to Letty? I asked, if you and I were to have a match right now, who'd be the victor? Well?
I accept. A fine challenge. Your Highness, I ask for your fair judgment.
Very well, understood. In that case... I would be the victor.
Hold now. Whatever do you mean?
A bout between Theo and I was the topic in question.
Since childhood, the two of you were oft in competition, and I was oft excluded. Well, I too have had my share of experiences on this journey, and am now stronger. I do not lack against the two of you.
Oh? You do know you cannot rescind such an invitation to a night.
Cease, Theo! Highness, please be careful with your assertions. Theo will take you in earnest.
You constantly strain yourself, Albie.
We should have known.
In all honor.
Are you headed for the continent of Nilbeth?
Remain ever aware. The Nilbeth we once knew is no more.
I understand. Let us be off.
By my word, no matter how oft we do this, I shall never grow accustomed to this transference wizardry. I wish to be free from this vertigo for some time.
My symptoms now prove evanescent. I suggest closing your eyes the moment it begins.
I see. It is visually taxing, to say the least.
Closing your eyes will not suffice.
Oh?
Even with eyes closed, the rest of you is instantaneously altered. As Fiona tells me, there are even those of the Aldous who suffer disorientation due to the process. One must endure.
Insufficient output. Go. Accelerate.
Activating combat protocols.
Exquisite.
Neutralized.
They were fooled to try.
Go. Destroy. Warning. Energy levels low.
Prepare yourselves for battle. To infinity. Prepare yourself.
I will know what this looks like, and I'm gonna carry it out.
So exquisite.
Do your eyes see the same malevolent spire mine do?
Was there not a settlement in the vicinity?
Let us push on southward.
I hope the people of Nilbeth and the Tracken are okay despite this big, creepy tower thing.
All we can do now is hope and pray they are. Let's make our way for the spire.
All right, so we bust in there, and then we figure out some way to stop Boldor, yeah?
Correct. I wish to investigate to confirm my suspicions.
Let us go then. Little Duma has not once led us astray.
Locked and loaded.
Gaston!
Lady Malkia, Princess Leticia, welcome to our new home.
Why the hell are you here?
By the Emperor's command, I come to inquire whether you are here to offer your surrender to the Scorpium Centralists.
You imagine we might? After you have wrought desecration on holy Trathan grounds not once, but twice now?
Oh, does Lady Malkia speak for all of you, then? That's too bad. But the Emperor is a benevolent man. Knowing full well you would refuse, he chooses still to offer you a final chance. For his wish is but to stand guardian over all life in our universe, those who would resist him included. Come, and behold what abject misery awaits those who reject the Scorpium Centralists.
You believe revealing yourself to us this way might convince us of anything?
If you yet refuse to reconsider, you merely reveal who you truly are.
What is happening?
It would seem to be a compatibility issue with the fused cybernetics. Likely a result of forced modification of what was once a normal configuration.
Be that as it may, we must not allow it to best us. Stand ready!
Prepare to engage
hostiles!
Energy levels.
Watch your step!
Ready. Do it.
Nothing. Stay focused.
Being a hero runs in the family. Let's see if you can handle this.
You'll never catch me. Firing.
Being a hero runs in the family. Let's see if you can handle this.
You spurn the Emperors. Our sovereign generosity!
Because someone who talks about their own kindness is never trustworthy!
I find trouble understanding how you could be brought to this. To be honest,
You, a lowly backwater commander, dare speak to my character! You, a slave who failed to free himself from his prison of flesh!
a traitor I am, and forever might I be. Much like yourself. I merely felt that I might be the only one capable of truly understanding your situation. Alas, I was mistaken.
Firing.
Stay focused. Give us a hand, Duma. Sharing strength. Being a hero runs in the family. Let's see if you can handle this. This'll see you through. Go. Seasonal tactics ineffective.
Hostiles eliminated.
How could this be? Colonel Melange. Lola. I can't see her.
I can't see anything. Lola. Lola, your face is gone to me.
Gaston. Speak now what is in your heart.
You were always a good companion to me. That's why I wanted you to join the Scorpium.
Surely there was another way. Poor fool.
Yes. Perhaps there was. But it was one that I forgot along the way.
I will go and speak with the Colonel in your stead. For now, sleep well, Gaston.
That will only leave me in more trouble. I'll speak to him myself.
He went all cybermind, right? So does that mean he can still come back like Boldor did?
He will not. His mind was not yet fully integrated. His fused state overload was likely the culprit. Whether this incomplete cybermind integration was by his own volition remains unknown.
Duma, have you gained any insight to aid our fight against Boldor?
We still lack adequate data to make a judgment. We must continue.
Let us then. This must be brought to an end.
You would leave him here?
I believe his integration to Scorpium to be genuine. This is where he should rest.
You may be right.
We're gonna have to climb our way up this tower, aren't we?
It would seem so. Let us begin.
This seems to be a dead end. Time to retrace our steps.
I must confess, this strange construction leaves me feeling perplexed. It's over. I don't have time for you.
Target sighted.
Are we sure we can take this? They don't look wins!
Destroy.
Stay focused.
Being a hero runs in the family! Let's see if we can handle this! Are we sure we can take this?
far up do we gotta climb?
Judging by the outside, we're going to be at this a while.
We are left no choice but to press ever onward and upward.
Hostile spotted! Watch out!
Threat neutralized. Acceleration. Prepare yourself. Watch your step.
To infinity!
Threat neutralized.
Cower in fear!
Target sighted.
This area would appear safe.
Never thought we'd find a place like this.
Are we sure we can take this?
Target sighted.
Made it halfway up yet?
I wonder the same. With my sensors cut off, I can't calculate our altitude in here.
Just gotta keep going up till there's no more up to go. Looks like a dead end.
We should probably try and find another way.
Threat detected.
We'll go on the offense.
Watch out! Out of my way!
Locked on. Go. Nowhere to run. An item collection for you. Assault.
Acceleration.
Here I come!
Perimeter secure.
Are we sure we can take this?
Initiate emergency protocols.
Taking over. Locked on. Locked and loaded. Stay focused.
No more! Threat neutralized.
That's over with.
Are we sure we can take this?
Roger that. Insufficient output. Keep your distance.
Batting at maximum. Item obtained. Assault. Item obtained.
Improvement is a perilous one.
Preparation, acceleration, insufficient output. Warning, energy levels low. Destroy.
Let this happen. Look alive, Ray.
Threat neutralized.
Duma, you ready? It's over. Take this!
Acceleration insufficient output. No threats detected.
Are we sure we can take this?
This area appears removed from commotion. We might find rest here.
Hostile spot. I'm here for you. Firing. Stay focused. Firing.
Threat neutralized. Destroyed. Threat neutralized.
Over already?
Target sighted.
Rep for
Ours. Understood. Want to take the lead? Perfect. Here for you.
Obtained.
Stay focused. Let's see if you can handle this.
Destroyed. Threat neutralized. Destroyed.
Press on.
Target sighted.
Are we sure we can take this? Doesn't look like we can get any further this way.
So be it. Let us return where we came.
Target sighted.
Are we sure we can take this?
Sure is oddly quiet here.
We should take the rest we are given chance for.